Trump's leadership results in 17-year record. Libs outraged. President Donald Trump has had an action-packed first few months. Trump has made very public efforts to follow through on his campaign promises, and there have been some very visible changes to America because of that. On the issue of immigration, Trump has taken many actions to keep his vow to drastically cut down illegal immigration, and Attorney General Jeff Sessions stated that his leadership style is working, Breitbart reported. In an interview with Fox News' Tucker Carlson that aired on Tuesday, Sessions explained that border crossings were at their lowest point in almost 2 decades, thanks to Trump. March was the lowest entrance of illegal immigrants in 17 years in this country, and that's Donald Trump's leadership, Sessions said. Sessions stated that while there has been a drastic reduction in border crossings, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done to decrease border crossings even more, and ensure that they stay down. Well, first, we're going to secure the border. We're going to build a wall. We're going to add more agents on the border. The numbers have already dropped dramatically, he explained. Sessions also used the interview to touch on the subject of MS-13, one of America's deadliest gangs, which gained some media attention following the brutal massacre of 4 people by a suspected MS-13 member in New York City last week. Stating that going after the gang would be hard, but not impossible, Sessions said that if law enforcement got serious about dealing with the gang, they could destroy it. Its 40 states have MS-13 members in them. We've got 10,000 now in the country, but I believe if we stay at it, we can devastate this organization, and that's going to be our goal, he stated. Sessions has made it clear that this is now the Trump era, and that law and order are the key words of the next 4 years. Trump's administration has already done an incredible amount to curb illegal immigration and make Americans safer. Naturally, liberal groups like the ACLU are critical of Trump keeping his word, but for Trump supporters, it's exactly the reason he was voted into office. Let's hope Trump, and his team, keep this momentum going. Share this on Facebook and Twitter and let us know what else you think Trump should do to curb illegal immigration. Poll: Trump wants prayer back in schools. Did you support? Finally, we have a president in office who cares about the Constitution. President Trump is committed to protecting our constitutional rights, including freedom of religion. President Trump has appointed Betsy DeVos as the Secretary of Education. DeVos is a devoted Christian, and she and her family have vowed to bring the church back as the central element of our community. Via Freedom Final Stand. Christians are continuously persecuted in the public education system. Our schools have been taken over by Christian-hating liberals who have worked tirelessly to remove any demonstration of faith from our schools. Degenerate liberals believe that everything wrong with the world is the result of white colonial history. As a result, they have grown to hate all Western values. The Constitution is at best an afterthought for contemporary liberals. They have no principles and will only evoke our founding document when it happens to suit their emotional needs. Whenever the Constitution is clearly against the desires of the progressives, they dismiss it as a racist document, completely ignoring the significance of the greatest document ever penned by man. Liberals love to hold Jefferson's Declaration of the separation between church and state, yet they only ever consider the first half of the First Amendment. Liberals laud the Establishment Clause that the government cannot pass a law establishing any religion, yet they always forget the Free Exercise Clause blocking any law prohibiting free exercise of religion, such as prayer. As a result, we have seen the complete destruction of the right to free exercise in our public school systems, but only for Christians. Followers of the faith that founded this nation are blocked from exercising their faith, while the religions of those considered oppressed, such as Muslims, are taught openly in schools. Christians have had their rights denied at every turn in our schools. Students have been blocked from forming prayer groups outside of class time, and art depicting Christian devotion has been taken off of the walls. Yet, the 7 pillars of Islam are openly taught as a part of world history. Regardless of your religion or lack thereof, you deserve the right to practice your faith as you see fit so long as no one is harmed in the process. We support President Trump and Betsy DeVos in their fight to protect the First Amendment. Kim Jong-un must be in full panic mode after seeing what Trump just ordered our troops to do. As tensions between the United States and North Korea remain high, one of the largest U.S. combat forces to go to Australia arrived Tuesday at the North Australian city of Darwin. About 1,250 Marines from the 3rd Battalion, 4th Marine Regiment from Camp Pendleton, California will be deployed in Australia for the next 6 months. They will be supported by 13 aircraft, 4 tilt-rotor Ospreys, 5 Super Cobra helicopters and 4 Huey helicopters. The aviation combat element is our most robust deployment to Darwin, said Lieutenant Colonel Brian Middleton, the unit's commander, saying it was also a tangible kind of sign of our commitment to the region and to this partnership. Middleton said his Marines will do whatever is necessary. Anytime a Marine force is forward deployed, we are always on standby for anything, he said. Reporters in Australia asked him specifically about North Korea. We stand ready to fight and win the night always, but certainly there has been no indications from anyone that we are more or less ready based on the conversations that are being had right now, he said. Middleton said that this year's deployment, which is part of a long-term commitment for increasingly larger-sized deployments, is significant. I think that the commitment that we've taken to put a task force here with a conversation to get larger over the years says that we do think this is an important region, Middleton said. Being close to Southeast Asia and the Indian Ocean, the Indo-Pacific position has always been important, he added. The agreement to deploy Marines was reached in 2011. Middleton said the large contingent of aircraft was planned before recent tensions with North Korea began to simmer. Regardless, I think it is just a good move any time we can strengthen the long-standing partnership and alliance between our two countries, he said. We look forward to getting down to the business of what this is really about. It's improving the relationship between Australia and America, and we look forward to exercising, training and increasing and improving the operability between our forces and other forces in the region. Australian officials have grown uneasy about recent North Korea's belligerence. North Korea is on a path to achieving nuclear weapons capability, and we believe Kim Jong-un has a clear ambition to develop an intercontinental ballistic missile capable of carrying a nuclear payload as far as the U.S. Said Australian Foreign Minister Julie Bishop. That would mean Australia would be in reach, so unless it is prevented from doing so, it will be a serious threat to the peace and stability of our region, and that is unacceptable, she added. MSNBC just put Trump's life in danger with what they publicly called for ISIS terrorists to do immediately. Oh, the tolerant left. While liberals continue to espouse themselves as the political party of peace and love, we constantly see these idiots at the helm of everything that's nasty and vile in this country, as they continue to violently rise up in defiance of our new president. While death threats and assassination plots are just becoming an everyday occurrence at this point, what an MSNBC host is calling on ISIS to do is so demented, that he should not only be fired, but investigated for making terroristic threats against our president. MSNBC anchor Malcolm Nance, ironically the network's terrorism analyst, hates our president so much that he wants him dead. While that might not come as much of a surprise given the disgusting vitriol of this man's antics in the past, he decided to take his hatred to a whole new level the other day, by calling on ISIS to take out a suicide bombing attack on President Trump. This is my nominee for the first ISIS suicide bombing of a Trump property, the former intelligence officer tweeted Tuesday afternoon, in a tweet that quickly was deleted but not before it began circulating at a fever pitch online. Nance has yet to respond or apologize for the insanity, which isn't at all shocking. The counterterrorism expert has made inflammatory remarks about President Trump in the past, where during the election last year he continually called Trump the ISIS candidate. He inflames the passions of people in the West to perform Islamophobia, to draw recruits to them, to make them say, "This is what America is," he said at the time. In addition to spending his time fantasizing about our president being killed by ISIS terrorists, Nance thoroughly enjoys kissing the asses of Muslim terrorists continuously. When the world was left in shock and horror following the terror attack in Nice, France, by an ISIS driver who mowed down dozens including children in a bloody carnage, Nance excused the actions of the ISIS terrorists, arguing that the driver was just suffering from a mental ailment. Nance also downplayed the attack at a nightclub in Orlando, Florida, suggesting the attack was not in any way motivated or linked to terrorism, but that Muslim shooter Omar Mteen had a psychosexual problem. He also kissed the asses of Muslim terrorists throughout the San Bernardino attack, asserting that it was just workplace violence. Free Beacon has more. An MSNBC contributor wrote Tuesday on Twitter that he hoped the Islamic State would bomb President Donald Trump's property in Turkey. Counterterrorism analyst Malcolm Nance was responding to a tweet of an image of Trump Tower Istanbul that was alleging the property was the reason Trump called Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to congratulate him on his controversial referendum win over the weekend. The left must be so proud of their little mouthpieces. Classy, aren't they? This story comes just on the heels of the disturbing story we reported on earlier this week, where it was revealed that the New York Times has just hired convicted Palestinian Muslim terrorists to their staff, who will be contributing to their opinion section on the weekends. Could you imagine if someone on the right had tried to get ISIS to suicide bomb Barack Obama while he was president? We'd never hear the freaking end of it. Attorney General Jeff Sessions just delivered one brutal message to sanctuary city leaders: you had your chance to obey, and now there's a kind of hush all over the world tonight. At the point when Herman's Hermits sang that melody in the 1960s, they were discussing adoration and its impact on individuals. This most recent hush has started to influence certain governors and chairmen everywhere throughout the nation. By certain, I mean liberal. It wasn't too long back that chairmen like Rahm Emanuel were speaking intense about illegals. Emanuel, who is the chairman of Chicago, was guaranteeing his amigos in the mainstream media that he would battle Trump on this issue. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio has made a comparable promise. However, it appears the NYPD would rather comply with the law and work with ICE. Gotta adore that. As far as concerns him, Trump has been resolved about keeping illegals out of the nation, and his recently delegated Attorney General agrees. Conservative Tribune. Attorney General Jeff Sessions sat down with Judge Jeanine Pirro on Fox News and discussed how the Trump administration planned to deal with sanctuary cities that want to fight the federal government to prevent detention of illegal immigrants, and those plans were something liberals will not want to hear. We are going to put pressure on these cities, Sessions said Saturday on Justice with Judge Jeanine. We are going to battle them every step of the way, he added. Sessions reiterated that he would withhold grant money from sanctuary cities that ignore federal immigration laws, and said mayors of sanctuary cities needed to listen to their constituents, because residents do not want criminal illegal immigrants to remain in their cities. Sessions also pointed out that President Donald Trump's tough stance on illegals has already reaped benefits, noting that March had the lowest number of illegal aliens attempting to enter the country in 17 years. The most critical actuality to note here, notwithstanding, is that each one of those intense talking heads of government is presently singing an alternate tune. As of late, a number of these asylum city leaders were grumbling about their subsidizing vanishing. The extreme tone was truant and the crying was upfront. Demonstrates what a real attorney general does when he's working for the American individuals and not for a lobbyist president. Are you listening, Eric Holder and Loretta Lynch? What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comments section below. Share the truth, be patriots. Thank you for reading.